Hello. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am Dave Paquette, one of the Asp.Net monsters, and I'm joined today by another monster, James Chambers.
That would be me, Green Monster, as it
Green
turns
monster,
out.
yeah. And I would be the Orange Monster. The origins of our colors, I'm actually not too sure how
Well,
that came to be.
do you know what? Actually, I sent across a thing when we got the artwork done for it. I said, Dave lives in the Caribbean. I live in the Green Prairies,
Okay.
and Simon lives in the mountains in Calgary. I'm getting some. Oh, there we go. I was just getting a little bit of audio loop. I had like 3 different windows of us open there. But anyway, so I'm in like the prairies, I guess, like the grass maybe. So that's like green, and then you're really well tanned and in the Caribbean, so you got orange.
That makes sense then.
And then mountain Simon. Actually, I think too. Like you're in beachwear, and I'm Simon's in like mountaineering gear. I don't know what I'm in, but
I don't think there's a full shot of us, but yeah, I'm in flip-flops and a tank top kind of thing.
it's awesome.
Fun stuff. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
No, it's not.
We're here
Sorry.
to work on 2WeeksReady.
Yeah.
So this is the project I've been streaming about and kind of working on the side to help out with the humanitarian toolbox. And it's this app around promoting emergency preparedness for individuals and families and helping them to have a plan to be 2 weeks ready. So the idea that you have enough supplies and a plan to, get by for not just the first 72 hours of a disaster, but 2 weeks in the event of a prolonged emergency. So we're actually getting ready to roll out a beta to some select users, a beta of the application, and we don't have like a ton of features to test yet, but this has been a good exercise even just in making sure that we have all the infrastructure in place to deploy to other environments. So we have the live development version here that you can go to anytime and try out. You can log in and it'll probably just remember who I am from last time, and you can go and build up your emergency kits. And it's waiting for some Azure functions to wake up there, but there's my cool kit. And so there's this development version, but that's the one that we're deploying to continuously. So every time there's a pull request and we merge something to master, then we automatically deploy out to this dev environment. And then what we added was with Github Actions, if you're kind of curious with what we built there, I guess I'll just go back. We're using the environments feature within GitHub Actions, and it's kind of neat because what it allows you to do is kind of split up your GitHub Actions into these different jobs. And you can see there were some failures there as I was playing around with it. But we have this build one that happens with every pull request. And then when you merge to master, triggers it again, it does a build and a deploy to dev. And then somebody has to come in here and approve that this is a version that you want to go out to the beta environment. And then eventually we'll also define a production environment that we'll push out to once we're happy with the beta testing. So that's using this concept of environments within GitHub, which is something that was added fairly recently. And it's kind of neat because you can go in here and you can see like all the different versions that were deployed to that particular environment, and you can define different variables for your secrets. So the things that like your connection strings or whatever else you might happen to have that's environment specific, like which servers you're deploying to. That kind of thing is all defined as environment level secrets. So if we go into the settings, which other folks can't see because they're not admins on this project, but there's the concept of environments here. So there's development and beta. And when I drill into beta, we can see the different environment secrets. So like our Azure credentials that allow us to deploy to the beta resource group. And then the env, which is the settings for the front end of the application. And then it's configured so that deploying to that environment requires, I'll zoom in a bit, requires somebody to review. So I need to add some other people on there. For now, it's me and Coding Bandit.
Now, do you have, for this project, do you have the local, like a local version of those settings that people would need to do? So if they wanted to do their own deployment out to Azure, they could grab that as a reference, add it to the secrets locally, set something up in Azure so they could do that on their own.
Yeah, what we do provide is the configuration for what you would use developing locally. I don't have an example exactly of what it might look like for a deployment out to the cloud, of what those settings would look like. But we do have scripts here that allow you to create the resources that are necessary and do a deployment. What's missing from there is the individual settings for each of those pieces. So there's a little bit of work that you would need to figure out there, but it's not a big leap from what has been provided.
Right on.
And hello to Neil. Neil's somebody who has been helping out with the project recently. Actually, he submitted a couple of pull requests after, I think, watching a couple of streams. So thank you very much, Neil, for watching and for contributing.
Right on.
And hello, Grenbert.
Grenbert, that's actually me.
That's you.
That's me.
Grenbert.
Yeah. I have another name, but I actually, yeah.
There's this. You mean there's a whole other version of James that I don't know about?
There's a whole other James that you are unaware of. But Grenbert's actually my name in Minecraft, and since I'm going to be, anyways, so more to come.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Okay, so I actually entered an issue here just recently to kind of prep for this stream, and what I'd like to do is actually go and we do have assets for this app, like nice icons that people have created. So I would like to go in and configure that so that it's there for the app, because right now when I go to what was it called? 2WR dev? No. 2WR dev. When I come here, like my favicon is just
Still
the generic view one.
Yeah.
And I think if I go to install the app here, it's just called 2WR-app, which isn't, that's to favorites. But if I go to install the app, again, wrong icon, not really the name of the app that I would like. So let's see if we can go and configure that. So we are using Vue for the front end, and it has this Vue CLI plugin for PWA, which allows you to configure a bunch of this stuff. And a bit of background into how you actually configure those things for a PWA. There's a manifest file, and let's just go see if we can find an example of what that looks like. Good old Mozilla. I'm not sure why that's marked as experimental still, but this is an example of a manifest file for a PWA. So you have things like the name of the app, and then optionally a shorter name, things like a background color that is displayed, I think, at the launch screen when it's launching the app, and a description of the app. These are things that are all displayed like when you go to install the PWA. And then you have all these icons. And, related applications I had not seen before. That's interesting.
So that would be
had an app
like an
deployed
actual
to the store.
App, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting because one of the things we're talking about doing is having there's certain things that we can't actually do within the PWA, and there's some integrations with the USGS Shake Alert system that they want to do just to like push out notifications to users of they have to go out quickly because you don't have a lot of warning with earthquakes, but there is this early warning system. We can't do that with PWA, but there's been talk about creating like these little sister apps that would just deal with those notifications that you would install to basically subscribe to those alerts so that you get notified for the earthquake early warning.
Right.
So yeah, we could use the early warning thing for that. So normally this file just exists in the root of your app, and then you do this link here to link to your manifest file. And then that's basically it. But when you're using the Vue CLI, a lot of that gets generated for you, the manifest file. So what we do is we do it kind of through configuration in the vue.config.js file here. And there's a bunch of defaults that it's using. So the reason our name is just 2WR-app is because it's pulling it from the name from package.json. So I have this open here, and probably if we look at our package.json, that's where we're going to see 2WR-app.
Right.
Which is fine. We'll probably leave it there like that, but let's go see in here if we can then configure our manifest options. So I think this is where this is supposed to go under PWA. Let me pull up that documentation again. Yeah, so under PWA, there would be a name, which we will set to the name of the app. So here we're going to do name 2WeeksReady. And probably there's a description as well. I'm not getting code completion here, which is always disappointing. I expect so much of my tooling these days that it just automatically knows what context I'm in and does auto-completion for me. Is there a description? Oh, manifest options.
Short name and name, display theme color.
Interesting.
When you hover over the app for the install again, there was actually, or when you click on the install button, there were a couple of things there. There was oh, I see. So it wasn't actually a description. It was actually just
I thought that was a description. That's just how Edge does it. So like other browsers are going to do it differently too.
Sure.
And it does show up in like your program files, for example, as an app that can be removed, added, or removed. So it's possible also that the description gets displayed there. But where does that? It's kind of an interesting exercise of trying to map the actual manifest file to the way it's configured inside this Vue plugin. Well, display is an important one too. So let's just work through them one at a time. I don't think we need a separate short name in this case, and it probably defaults the short name to be the pwa.name, so that's fine. We'll leave that as is. The start URL is already configured. The display has very specific settings, so what does that do? That's not even giving me options, or it doesn't explain what the options are. Usually, oh, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, display. This is what I was looking for. Values. Full screen, standalone, minimal UI. Browser. Okay, so I think standalone is the one that we want. So this displays it as an app with its own window. Like it looks like its own app, and it doesn't have like all the browser controls on the top of it. So I think this is good.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm
But
out
it still
there.
has, yeah.
Sorry, I was just out saying I'm out looking for the description. There's definitely a description field for the app manifest, but I'm not seeing it in the view.
I'm going to just guess then that it goes into the manifest options because it feels like that's where it should go.
Right. Just, yeah.
Okay, so we have, I think display is probably already set to standalone, but we'll add a description here and let me see if I can pull that from the GitHub repo. Saw a description, here we go. I think that's probably a good description to use, so we'll put that in here. And I think that might be it for now. Let's do a build of this just so that we can kind of see what it's generating from that. So if I do an npm run build, it should build like the production version for me that will have the manifest file in it.
And then we can just check the www roots and figure out what it.
Yeah. See what we're dealing with here. And then eventually I'll just go have a peek while it's actually building. The big thing will be to set up all these icons. So you have like all these different sizes of icons that are needed for the different operating systems and stuff. So getting that all just right. If I look at my assets folder in here, so we do have these icons for the app, and that's our icon. It's pretty sweet.
Right on. Yeah.
I like it. There it is, nice and big.
It does the trick.
Yeah. But these sizes, so there's PNGs here of various sizes, and they may not quite align with what we need. The ones that are a little bit weird, not surprisingly,
16.
Apple
Oh, yeah, Apple.
And Microsoft. So
nice. Thanks, guys.
they both have kind of weird sizes that they're expecting, but that's fine. We can. There are lots of good tools that will take an SVG and go and generate it, and we do have the SVG source here for the icons. So
Or as you got a 512, so we can downsample, it'll still look good.
If we need to, yeah. Okay, so is that done building? Yes. So now under my dist folder, I have a manifest.json, which I'll just unminify here. So it gave me the name, oh, but it still used the short name as 2WR app. So we will go and change that. And there's my description, so that's good. And standalone. So we'll have to decide on like some foreground and background colors for the app. I'm thinking maybe the background color, we could just use like a background color from this guy.
Right.
So that could work. But yeah, let's go set that short name because that's weird that it's not pulling that the way I thought it would. It's here again. Probably here, short. Okay, let's go see if we can do a couple other things. So that foreground or the background color, we'll do, let's go open up that SVG because I can probably pull the background out of it. Open this code. It's not gonna work. Minify that too. How do I not have a formatter installed for XML?
Well, you know, it is XML.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I'm just installing a random one here.
Well, there's one by Red Hat. That seems like
Probably would have made more sense. Oh. And I'm getting pinged with a document here that has all of the hex colors. Thank you, Dante. So Dante is someone from the business where we're working with them to build up this app, and he just sent me the info that I needed. So I'll just pull the hex right there. Thank you very much.
Dante's watching right now.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I can just pull that right into, I don't even have to worry about trying to dig it out of there. Okay, so that was the background color, and since I don't have the code completion, I need to go and see what that's supposed to be. Oh, there's so many colors. Okay, so there's the theme color and the MS tile color. So that's if you were to like pin it, but I don't think that that's really a thing very much anymore with the new Edge, as much as it was with previous versions of Windows. Where's the thing I'm looking for, James? I'm looking for
the background color.
So in the actual manifest file, it was it's just background color. Was that the same as the theme color?
No, it looks like a different. So there is yeah, something calling it out.
Okay, yeah. So theme color.
Oh,
that surrounds the site. So like the color of the
app menu bar and stuff like that. Well, we could probably set that too.
Yeah, but the background color was the one that I wanted to be this other one. So that's just background underscore color, which I don't see in the Vue plugin. This is actually very confusing.
You missed a little guest appearance by my wife, who didn't realize that I was streaming right now. And
she knows now, right?
She knows now. I don't think she's going to be able to leave the bedroom now. She's like pinned against the wall.
Trapped
she's
in
like,
there.
What do I do?
Okay, so background color. We'll try setting that. Then what would we want the theme color to be if we look at our...
Do you have an accent color if you go back to that?
Yeah, I think
probably
something
darker would be my guess.
What do you want to use here?
Like the dark orange.
Yeah, that would be perfect, I think. We'll try that, and then they can give us feedback if that's not what they like. At least we have somewhere to change it now. Let's see if those got through properly. And then we can start looking at those icons. So I'm actually just going to see if, I know I've found these before in the past, but there's usually some pretty good sites out there that generate the images for you in the right format and sizes. So So let's see if it'll let me pick the SVG, because that would be pretty awesome. TwoWeeksReady, assets, images. Nope, not that one. Icons.
So close.
Do a transparent background color, I think, or you know what? Let's use the color that we have for the background color. I think
Right.
that'll probably look better. I support all these things, I think.
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to.
Maybe not Windows Star.
What's Windows Star? Windows 8. Yeah, you probably don't need to.
Yeah, I think probably just these ones. And download.
There aren't a lot of Windows phones out there remaining.
Not very many, no. Definitely not. It's out of support now, so I don't think we need to worry about it too much. Well, let's see what that generated for us. Interesting. There's an icons.json. Okay, well, I'm going to take this and paste it into the assets folder for the app, and then we'll see what we can do with it. So that would be under here somewhere. I'm just going to nuke all these icons so that we're not accidentally referencing them.
Right.
We'll paste all of this stuff in. Wow. Interesting. Let's see what that generated for us.
I wonder if that JSON file actually has like just the mapped paths for the...
That's kind of what I'm hoping. So let's see what it says. It totally does.
Nice. Okay, so what's cool about that then, in theory, is that we should be able to add this to the build process in some way, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
or do we need to? Okay, we don't need to overcomplicate it. We could actually just probably take this JSON and just...
I think I'll probably paste it in, because then I also need to add the /images/icons to the front of it.
Right.
But let's see if, and probably the sizes aren't supposed to be on there, or are they? Let's see what the manifest says. So we'll start here, because I know there's an icons thing. Oh, so these are very specific, the icon paths.
Whereas, and icon path names too, right? It's not... Oh, actually, this one
so this looks better. I think if we just pop that icons JSON, the contents of it, into the manifest section, I'm hoping that'll just override the other stuff.
Just do a copy and paste on the source equal, or like source colon thing, and add that other path in, and then we should be good, right?
So let's do that. Well, let's grab all of this first. And we will paste it into our view.json in here, or view config in here. And then, so we can do a find replace.
I think you might be just missing your closing array on icons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That could very well be. Thank you. That would have been difficult to catch.
We got 8 eyes on this.
It's good. We need them.
Because we're both wearing glasses.
Plus all the other people watching.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to look for that, and I'm going to replace it with... And it would be /img icons / and then whatever it was.
And
that's
boom.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's run that and see what it looks like.
Oh, wait a minute.
Can you...
No, not necessarily. Can you go back to the documentation though? I feel like there were 3 properties in these objects.
They had a type as well. Don't know if it's necessary.
And then it's not here.
They're all PNG. It probably doesn't matter.
I feel like everything supports PNG. Like if you're thinking about Android and iOS and Chrome and Edge, those are all going to support
I think that'll do the trick for
PNG.
now. Let's see what this manifest file looks like. Oh, and you know what? It even added it in for us.
Wow.
Interesting.
Maskable.
Oh, you know what? These are the other ones. It's pulling in these are the generated ones again that we had
Sure.
deleted. So
So
is there
where's it?
something in the view config where it's referencing those? It must just be one of the defaults. Where did it get that from?
Could you search for that file name just in whatever
Yeah.
was in the manifest? Just search for it in code, EVS code.
Looks like I had changes to the manifest file, so that might not have been the latest one. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that was an old version of the file.
Gotcha. Now I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could probably. I wonder if there's like a performance thing. Like, should we? It just added 300 lines of code for those.
Yeah, I mean, it gets minified, and it's not like it's a big file. And then it's up to the platform that you're on to decide which files it's actually going to download from that manifest. But I get what you're saying. I don't think it's really a big deal.
Yeah, we're still going to be like a couple of K, so it's not going to be.
How big is this manifest file? Public. Just
9K.
Oh, I just opened it in code again. 9K, so that is fairly big, actually. We should look at maybe paring that down a bit. Let's see if we can get it to work first and get things to show up. So I think that should, in theory, be all we need. Let's run the app. I don't know that we can actually test the PWA stuff when it's running locally. Let me just do an npm run serve here, and we'll see what it looks like.
Sure. My thought on that was that in an emergency situation, there's less data available on the network. But if you're running 2 weeks ready, it's not in the crisis moment. It's like this, you're running this ahead of time. So you've probably got good Wi-Fi, good data.
Yeah, so you need to open it to look things up in the
Yeah.
crisis moment, but at that point you've already downloaded the manifest.
The manifest's already local, yeah.
Well, that's building. There's a question from Neil about the admin app. Yes, so the data is hard-coded in the admin app. Do you think I can start replacing hard-coded base kit information with data from the API? Yeah, so the purpose of that admin app, Neil, just for some background, is that it will be connected to the same backend as the app itself, and will be the place that like the administrators could go in and define what those base kits are. So the idea is that you can load the base kits that are in the database, you can make changes to them and then save them back, and then that will be used to drive the UI. So Carrie, Coding Bandit, she's going to put some more detail where necessary so that you have what you need there to pick that up and start working on it. Okay, so this is where things are going to be difficult to test locally because all of the PWA stuff by default doesn't get turned on for local development, and it does that for good reason because things get cached very aggressively with PWAs, and it can be a real pain to try to make that work in a local setting. So somewhere in here, register service worker, we have this piece here that says we only do this if the node env is production. So I either need to build a production version here and run it, or comment this out and remember not to comment it out, or not to check it in, and see if that registers the PWA portion of the app now, which in theory I can see if I go to application here. No, it does not like all those icons that we generated.
Oh, look at that. They're not square. Those are just warnings, though. Yeah, but it's got some stuff in there. Like that's the background or the theme color that we selected. That.
Oh, look, and it shows me like these are the icons it's going to use. That is not what I wanted.
No. I wonder if that image that you selected, if it had a lot of padding around it, Dave.
I think it just, like it added padding. It was an SVG, so what I expected it to do was go and resize it appropriately for these different sizes, but it didn't do that. So it must have a size kind of built into it. Yeah, these are not what we want.
Woo. Those are terrible in a fun kind of way.
Yeah, let's redo that. Let's regenerate that thing. PWA icon generator from SVG. Let's see if there's a different one we can use. There's lots of these guys out there. And also the favicon that we need to generate because that hasn't been done yet. This was just the PWA stuff. There's some local tools that we can install. We could try that.
I think that's just talking about...
Yeah, so you give it an icon.
Okay.
And then it goes and generates the versions for you for the... Yeah, that's kind of interesting. You can do an SVG. Why don't we give this a try? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, and actually look at it. I think what it's going to do is it's going to overwrite those default ones. Mm-hmm. So you could probably back out your changes.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, some of them anyway. Let's do that. That was way too many files anyway.
Right? Nobody wanted that many files.
Yeah. Vue.js, or the config.js here, I'm just going to remove all the icon stuff that I added. That's gone. And then I'm just going to go and basically delete all of this icon stuff that I added. Really doesn't... Visual Studio Code is really aggressive there about not wanting me to delete files. It asked for... It elevated to admin privileges. Just really didn't want me to do that. Okay. So that's all back. Let's go see if we can try this tool. So what are the steps here we do? Hey Rodney, thanks for the blog post. Is this already in there? Or do I need to install it? I do need to install it. Okay, that makes sense.
So Eric Fleming is joining us on the YouTubes and asking why the size would be critical. So we touched on it a little bit. And yeah, the thing that did trip me, or that got me thinking about it, was the idea that in crisis, there may be restrictions or very downgraded service on the data network. But as Dave pointed out, while you're going to open the app to go and look at like what were the things we were supposed to grab on the way out of the house so we could get in our bug out vehicle and take our go packs and be gone, you don't like it's already installed. The manifest is already local, so you're not downloading it at that point.
Okay, so let's see here. We got view asset generate -a, give it our source file. I guess I got to go pull that back in or I can just reference it from getting lost in my folder structure here, but we have assets /icons app. What does this guy look like? It's a good size. It should be able to resize that appropriately.
Yeah, I think,
if the tool is any good.
So this is an SVG though. Do you have a PNG that has less border around it? Because I think this, like, my sense is that we want to trim off as much of the white space.
I think it's the same amount. The reason I want to use the SVG is that can scale to any size because it's vector graphics.
Okay.
So they should be able to resize it specifically to the size they want and then do the PNG export without losing
Sure.
quality. Whereas if I'm just resizing a bigger one, like the smaller ones are going to look not great.
Yeah. Well, what I'm meaning though is like I guess it's hard to say what is in the SVG, but it's hard to crop off the dead white space around the outside. Like that.
I don't think there's white space. I think that the SVG itself ends right here.
No. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's the padding, the margin. Like to remove that, because if you look at like the icon for view up in Chrome.
I see.
It's edge to edge, right? But it doesn't matter too much. Like, I mean, at least there's the colored background there. So
yeah, let's try it and see.
Yeah,
see what it does.
Maybe it won't look too bad.
Okay. So where was the command that I needed to run? That was over here. Okay, I'm going to want to go probably to the public folder. And I'm going to do us at generate, and this is where it's going to be fun to go // assets, icons, app. Okay, that wasn't that hard. Output to the image folder. Boom. So I created a favicon for me, which is handy. It created a manifest JSON, which I'll just have to go and grab the contents of, and then pop that into my config file. We'll see if that turned out a little better than our last attempt. All right. Where did it put that file? It says it generated manifest. There it is. Okay, so I can just grab these icons. There's way fewer of them, which is good, I think. And we'll delete this. And we'll paste that into here. And we'll build again and just see what that looks like.
It's going to work perfectly.
Clearly.
First try.
I'm hoping the favicon just pops its way into there too. Since did it override an existing one? It updated. Yeah, it looks
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think.
And it's got the right sizes. It's not overly crazy with the number of icons it generated. So
we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, so if we look in the public folder, just to confirm, I think that's not the right file. What did I do? I did a build, so it should have overwritten everything here. It's still referencing this view favicon for some reason. What's going on here?
So this favicon is in this one. Where do you specify the favicon? I missed that.
These oh, where am I? So I'm looking in the public folder. Oh, the dist folder is the one where, yeah, okay. So it's still referencing the wrong one. So I think I just have things like in the wrong place here. Why is that? You know what? I'm gonna have to go look at this inside of Explorer because it's just a little bit too hard to see here. Okay, so this is the public folder. And then inside my image folder, I have all of
your fav icons there. Yeah.
Okay, so I should get rid of this icons folder. So that's the old stuff. And I should take this.
And just move it up a dir.
Here. Replace that file. And then I wonder, I think my manifest, the path should have been right. But let's just go double check that. It is img/icons. So those are in the wrong folder. Wait.
So that's the dist. Those ones were copied over from that last batch that you had.
Oh, jeez. It's so easy to end up in the wrong folder.
Yeah.
I don't have an icons folder, so I should make icons and drop those in there, I think is what I need to do for everything to line up right here. I think.
And again, I missed it, but is there something that specifies that it's in the icons folder? Like, I mean, it's fine if it's the default, it'll still work.
So the thing that I put into my manifest JSON, I thought was specifying it was in the icons folder. Yeah. So I don't know how they ended up in the wrong folder, but now everything should be in the right place. Do a save all, everything's saved. Do another build. And we'll peek at that dist folder one last time, and then we'll see if this looks a little better than last time. Your favorite troll has arrived.
Oh, look at that. Hello, Brendan.
How's it going? All right, looking in the dist folder. We have our images, which are the right images now. We have our right favicon. Index.html should be referencing the right things, and this is as well referencing the right things. So let me we'll run it here again locally, and then I think we're just going to do a deployment to the development environment and just see what it looks like once it's deployed. Just remembering to revert our changes to the service worker, register service worker file. All right. Look. Testing changes to that icon file is always just hard to do. There we go.
There it is. Ayo.
Nice.
Very good.
And we've got our theme color, background color. There's the icons.
They look a lot better.
So
nice.
much better.
Okay.
Great. Okay. So page does not work offline. It does, because I know I've tested it. We did that last time, I think. But that's interesting. We'll have to pay attention to these warnings. I think they're pretty important. But while James is looking up that warning, I'm going to undo this.
That's right, I am.
I could tell. I heard you typing. I'm going to publish this or push this up to master branch. I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and not do a pull request for this, because James just did a live review of it.
I did. The fly. Yeah, I watched I caught that missed that trailing bracket.
Yeah.
So
app icons. So if you're contributing to the project, you would not be able to just push to our master branch. You have to do a fork and then do a pull request into the repo to our master branch. But I'm just cheating a bit for the sake of keeping things moving along here. So we should see app icons, and there's the GitHub Actions already triggered here. Take a look at that. This is, I don't know that GitHub Actions was always this fast, James, but you see the npm CI on this was 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's really fast.
That's pretty fast. Okay, I did find something here, and it seems like I might be chasing a red herring here, but so there's a couple of articles that say you have to change the scope of your PWA.
Okay.
But I just I kind of need to drill in to figure out where it is. It currently being served via HTTPS?
Oh, it's not, because I was running locally, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If the service worker fails, that would be another one. So that's
Brendan's trolling us about not doing a PR here for this change. And he's right. I should have made a PR. He's not trolling. He's just laying down the law is what he's doing.
Ouch!
You're
But
right.
it was a live. It was
You're
a
right.
live code review. It was literally like two of us right here. Keeping us honest. My gosh. Thanks for joining us, Eric. We'll see you next time. No, you got to run.
See you, Eric. It's building. It's deploying. It's doing its thing. It says the job is complete. Oh, that's the build job.
Now deploy to dev.
The one thing I don't love about this is because we're using these .env files for each of the environments with the Vue app to decide like what backend it talks to and what the configuration is for it. We end up having to do a whole new build with every environment that we deploy to, instead of just having like the package and then specifying the configuration for that package.
Right.
So I don't love that part of this. But the only way to really fix that I know of is to not use .env files for your configuration, to use like a different pattern. And then you're introducing like a whole other set of concepts to the front end build, which also isn't great. So by comparison, the back end build, we'll just look at it while it's doing its thing. It's a little easier. So what we do with the build is we have an output. So the build builds out an artifact, which is the deployment script and the zip file for the deployment, which is just the Azure Functions app itself that we deploy. And then with the various deployments, we're just deploying to that same zip file to different Azure Functions instances, which is a better pattern. I like that a lot better. But
yeah,
that's where we're at anyway with the CI/CD. Okay, looks like this is deployed to dev. Or at least it lies to me and says it's deployed to dev. So the very last action that it does is pushes out to blob storage. So this is the application itself is stored in blob storage, and then has a CDN sitting in front of it. And you know what? Let's just pop over to the portal and have a look at it. Because why not? We can do that. We can break all the rules around here. We don't even do PRs. We just push straight to master.
Hey, do you know what? If that's the kind of thing that makes Brendan his blood curl, we should talk about the fact. Well, no, just don't forget. Up until 8 months ago, for our primary site for my wife and I's business, we were publishing from Visual Studio.
That's true. You were right, publish. So what that did is it just pushed all of the new assets over to this blob storage $web container here. So these are the files that we just published. And then there's a CDN that sits in front of it. But one of the things that it has to do is go and purge the cache on that. So if we look at the activity, there's going to be a... Oh, is it not actually doing it here? I don't see any activity. That's interesting. Did I miss that step in my build script? Because it should be purging the CDN so that otherwise it can take like a week sometimes for that index.html to purge itself. Let's take a look at these scripts. I wrote these quite some time ago, so I don't remember what they have in them. It is doing a purge of the index.html and the manifest.json and the service worker file, just in case. So that we ensure that it's always serving the new version of those files. But this purge can take like 15 minutes, and I don't want the build to sit there for 15 minutes while it's waiting, so I pass it this no wait command.
Right.
So usually I can come into the Azure portal, and I can actually see that purge command in here under the operations. There it is.
There it is.
Okay, so it says accepted, and that it has started, but it's not done. So if I go to the app now, UWR dev, no, that's not the right one, dev. Even if I do a control F5 here, I'm still always going to get the old.
Whatever was cached.
Oh, it actually just finished, so never mind. It beat me to it. There's my manifest.json. No, some of the files are still...
Oh, but I bet you that's because we didn't generate those ones. Maybe?
we did generate them, but on the CDN, those are files that did exist before.
Right.
So these are files that probably didn't, and these ones did, and they're being cached. So in this case, I'm probably going to have to come in here and just do a full purge of everything, just to force it through so that we can actually see the changes. But this is looking better. And if I do a plus here, look at that. Installs TwoWeeksReady app.
Yeah.
I should be able to install it as an app.
And if we check that manifest again, served by the page, does it now show that it is installable? Does it give us that same error? I just want to confirm that.
Question.
That was.
I mean,
was it just about? Oh, well, there it is.
It installed, but we can still go look and see. So the warning was that it didn't support offline, and it does now.
And I think that was probably just related to the HTTPS aspect of it. Okay.
So this unfortunately isn't using the theme color that I was hoping it would for that top bar.
I can't confirm that for you.
Right. I'm user testing accessibility here with James Chambers. Interesting. So it's still showing green, which was the Vue.js green, I think.
But I wonder if maybe
that might just be Windows, like a cache thing.
Okay, I was actually going to ask if Windows didn't respect that, if Windows just picked its own.
I think that it does respect it, because I feel like I've said it before in other applications.
Okay, so we could uninstall this bad boy.
Yeah.
And because you did that purge now on the. I did the
purge, but it's probably not done yet. So, oh wow, that.
Thanks, Brandon.
I installed that. It closed
That's why my face is looking better. I think he's still trolling us,
including the ones that I had like Twitch.
We must have said it's looking better, and then.
Funny.
Oh no. I may have lost you.
Coming back. So dev portal. Let's go take a look at the portal and see if that purge is done. A big purge of everything. It's two competing purges happening at the same time.
Okay, so I, for some reason, have lost your share to me, Dave. I'm watching the stream and I'm seeing you. I don't know if that's something you can fix or not. I can't hear you.
Ooh. That's back to the old version, which is fun with CDNs. That might need
to be something that's fixed in OBS Ninja. I'm not sure if you can adjust that or not.
Went back to an endpoint where I guess.
Okay, good. I'm glad you guys can hear. I'm in like viewer mode right now, so I'll just keep my window streaming, and I can't hear Dave.
You're gonna get the new files this time? Yes, but still some of the old ones. Can Dave not hear James? Oh, did I lose James? Can I hear you, James? Oh, I can't hear you, and you probably lost my. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So remember when I said it closed all of my stuff? Hey, James. Lost you there for a minute. And he can't hear me now, other than delayed. Hey.
You're back.
I'm back. So,
hey!
Folks who are on the stream know what happened there, but you don't.
I don't.
So, when I uninstalled the PWA with Edge, it closed all of my Edge browsers. All of them, including the one that hosted OBS Ninja, which is the thing that is allowing us to talk to each other.
Of course.
Yes. So that's fun. Let's just see. Sitting around waiting for waiting for CDNs to purge. This one says succeeded.
That's the most recent one.
Yeah, so that should be the big purge. I'm still getting these files that are wrong. Why is that? Would it do that? Yeah, it's funny. I didn't notice that you weren't talking, or that I couldn't hear you, because in OBS I could still see your face, and I just thought you were being oddly silent for
That
a
doesn't sound
period of
anything
time.
like
Which,
me.
yeah,
That doesn't sound like me at
thinking
all.
back, it should have been obvious that
It's a trigger. It's like when
something
kids are
was wrong.
quiet. It's like
They're quiet for longer than 30 seconds. You know that it's because they're getting into trouble.
okay. Let's check our dist folder maybe, because maybe those are still getting built out into dist.
Yeah, let's have a look. I don't think they are, but it's worth checking. Dist, images, icons. Yep, these are all good. And those are
that's the
files that are
192s.
here.
Yeah.
So let's just see if we go to img icon slash, what was the name of that file?
Something manifest.
It was this
Oh,
192.
Android.
I think, right?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, I just want to copy the file name. Come on. Control A, Control C.
Oh, snap.
I must not have gotten that right. MG icon slash that. That's super weird. It's doing a rewrite on me, which it's only supposed to do if it's not a file.
Yeah, that is a static file.
I wonder if I need another rewrite rule here that says, huh,
Could you put back into DevTools for a second?
yeah.
That one says Android Chrome.
Oh. Yeah, I can't see the file names here, unfortunately.
Hmm.
I can probably view the manifest file itself. Is there a way to pretty print this thing?
There is a plugin for it for Chrome, anyways. I imagine.
There's my 192, 192.
Yeah, images, icons, Android Chrome, maskable, 192.
92 maskable. Maybe I had the wrong one there. Maybe
There's another one right there before it that is just, it doesn't have the maskable.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
I mean, most of this can probably be chalked up to just CDN flashing stuff. If I look at, yeah, I don't know why those files are still coming through wrong, but there should be a way to clear this. Unregister. And then do a refresh of the page. No, still coming through wrong. Okay, well, one thing we can do is, if I can confirm that in blob storage the files are correct, then I don't really have to worry about this. It'll eventually work itself out. So here's my container, $web, images, icons. Download. Open. It's going to be the right file. Okay, I don't think we need to worry about this too much. Although, just out of curiosity, are there any other files here that have 192 in them? There is this one. Is that going to be the wrong file?
No, it's
also
right.
okay. So I think we can ignore this. And it should just work itself out here.
Just a crazy question for you. What if you hit this in Chrome really quickly?
Oh,
I
that's a
wonder if
good
there's
idea.
like
I've never been there
edge.
before. Well, because I've been there with Edge before too, that it might be causing me some issues. We get our little install prompt.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. TwoWeeksReady. Install. Still using that wrong color. So it is
Neil's
the CDN.
saying,
It's got to be the CDN.
yeah. Well, Neil's saying that they're not seeing those icons on their local Chrome developer tools.
Yeah, you won't see them because it doesn't register the service worker when you're running locally. So there's this register service worker file.
Right. And you'd have to comment that line out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, all the PWA stuff by default is turned off for local development because it would cause like all kinds of problems. Sorry, I meant the view W icons. Okay, yeah. So you're not seeing those view icons that came with view from we created the project. Yeah, they're not in there anymore, so they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The source isn't even there,
Yeah.
so CDN stuff should work itself out. I'm with you on that app bar though. That's weird.
So
that's not showing up.
What's interesting here is when I go to the tools, it's showing all the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in Chrome after I installed it. The manifest file looks the way we expect, and all the icons look the way we expect. For some reason, the app bar is still green. I'd ask you to try and go install it and see what color it is, James.
Yeah, so both those colors. Like you're saying green and orange, and I'm like, sure.
If you say so, Dave. I think this will probably work itself out, but I'm going to keep an eye on it just to see what happens. This is one of the tricky things with doing PWA is just making sure that things get installed and updated, and that you're not working with cached versions of files. It is pretty tricky to manage, especially when you then throw a CDN on top of it and you have all the caching that infrastructure to figure out. So fun times. Eventually, I think that should be the dark orange, but for now, it's still the view green. I'm going to uninstall this. Didn't close all my Chrome tabs. It's interesting that Edge did. But what's this icon? Create a QR code for this page. Open TwoWeeksReady. Manage apps.
Yeah, maybe if you just like nuke it all together, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to hit remove.
Data. Wait,
what
if you
did that last time? That's when it closed all of my Chrome browsers, so I'm not going to try that again. I'll test that offline.
But you see the also clear data? There's a prompt there.
Yeah, I did. I think I had that checked last time, but I can't remember for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see if it just sorts itself out the next day or so. I'll keep an eye on it. But we have the right icons displaying, and we have the name of the app. I did just notice that it's still 2WR-app up at the top there, like the title of the page. So I think we should change that to be 2weeksready as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's coming from here. I don't think it is. I think that's actually in our, if we go to public and index.html, I think that's coming from here.
I think it's pulling it in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Options.html webpack title options. Title.
Yeah.
And
I think you go back to the view config for that. Yeah.
Title. Interesting. So it's not set anywhere here. It's probably also defaulting to just the package JSON. So let's see. This is the... Actually, let's just go Google this and Vue.js. Configuration. What is all this?
That is in your
This is more than I would have expected to have to write to just set the title.
It's actually why don't we Google? Why don't we search in Visual Studio Code for that title, because it shows up. I remember this. Like this is in like one of your base Vue files.
It's pulling it from package JSON.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't really want to change it here because this has different naming conventions. It has to be like the lowercase and lower kebab cased, I think, is the convention for these things.
Okay, so we need to change we need to pull out, or we need to give it that option title.
Yeah.
So that'll be where it's defaulting. So that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to
That's
add
what I'm
it
trying
in.
to figure out, is where that gets set in here.
Well, so if you use exports PWA, no, we're in Vue configuration. So can you just add in pages?
Yeah,
Index,
that's just
title.
Like a lot of stuff to have to add. I wonder if I can just set the title. No.
Right, like at a higher level.
Some defaults happening here. Oh, yeah, it's
okay. So in Vue config.js.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Oh, well, hang on a second here. I found a Stack Overflow. That's configurable via pages. And that's the same one that you found.
Yeah.
But there's oh, right.
Black over Stowe.
There's actually another way to do it, and this is the way that I ended up doing it. Now I'm remembering.
Okay.
Is that you can set in your env file a Vue app name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to send you. What's the best way to send this over to you right now?
Slack is good.
Okay. Let me do some copy pasta here. I'll Slack you up. Okay. There we go.
Okay.
So it would be a change to
Oh, I have to go and change the actual HTML as well.
You change the HTML as well.
You know what? It's a pretty good idea, actually, because then I can set it to actually say like dev and beta in those environments, just as a bit of a clue as to which one we're doing. So I'm not going to have time to do this one today, but I'm going to put that on my list of things to do.
Do you know what? We can create an issue for it.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Brendan's asking, what are you trying to build? Something that builds on save. Not so much. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but basically what we're trying to do is to get the page title. So what's displayed up in the browser tab, like the browser tab proper, and it's pulling by default. It pulls it out of that package.json. And the way that I have fixed this in the past is the way that we just talked about, where you basically set it in your environment, and then Webpack's actually able to pull out that proper value for you in the view as well. So, and then as Dave said, if you set up by environment, we can also give a visual cue in the title to say this is dev. So up there where it says 2WR-app right now, we want to change that.
Exactly. So we want to configure public/index.html.
Right.
Reference the app name from a view app
env
setting. Setting. Prefix to those specific environments. Web title would be 2 weeks ready dev. Wow.
Yeah, I guess just as we're
I
getting
was
ready.
gonna paste this in there.
Oh yeah, I thought you did. No. Oh, you pasted,
the
image. And just as I think we're getting set to wrap up here, Dave.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Okay. So make sure you follow Dave, and I guess me too if you're interested. But we have a channel for the ASP.NET Monsters on the YouTubes, and Dave and I have both actually been involved in HTBox for a number of years at various levels of of involvement. And if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, Brendan's not going to follow us. Okay.
That sounds
Thank you,
about
Brendan.
Right. We appreciate
that sounds
it.
about Brendan.
Yeah,
we kind of we picked up on that. You didn't actually have to say anything, Brendan. It's all good. Yeah.
Thanks for joining me, James.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's good. It's fun to talk through this stuff. Good to talk through this stuff. Makes it fun. Got a couple of questions coming through here. Best way to ask questions: Twitter DMs.
Yeah, Twitter DM is fine. And otherwise, if it's like a bug that you find in the app, just log a GitHub issue. And otherwise, just reach out on Twitter. That works.
The other thing that's really good though is if you've got a question that you feel like other developers are going to ask after you can add it as an issue in GitHub, and then it can be marked as resolved, and then maybe it could be added to the wiki or things like that, and it's public and people can.
That way, it's searchable. People can find the solutions if they're running into the similar problems. Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thanks again, everyone, for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Cheers.